Boys are boys from the beginning. If you were born a boy, you stay a boy. Girls are girls right from the start. If you were born a girl, you stay a girl and grow up to be a lady. Only girls can be the mommies. Only boys can be the daddies.
This is Ultra Izzy.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Well, today we're going to discuss a little bit about the clip you guys just saw. It was a clip, I believe, from 1968. Mr. Rogers, keeping it real, right? Saying things that we all pretty much knew as truths and as facts for the majority of our lives up until, I don't know, a few years ago, 10 years ago, however long it started. Yeah, I mean, apparently this video with Mr. Rogers has been going viral again. All these years later has been really convicting people because they've been getting really upset in the comments. A lot of people are just upset, you know, all the phobics, all the acists are coming out. All those terms are being used for Mr. Rogers and anyone who believes that video has any truth to it. And most of us, probably you watching this channel, know that that they are true. But the basic question, or I don't know if it's a basic question, but the question begs to be asked: is common sense and basic biology under attack? And I'm gonna have to say that I think it is. And I don't know exactly when it started. But I will say I started noticing social changes and a denial of basic truths around 2012, 2013 under Obama. Now, did it happen before that with him? It could have been. I just never really paid attention. I was a lot younger, never really thought about it. But I just started paying attention around that time. I was around 32, 33, started noticing that people started behaving differently. People started being a little bit more bold and outlandish about some of their claims. And it wasn't really until the last 3 or 4 years that it's really ramped up until like there's 100 genders. There's, you can be whatever you want. You can identify as whatever you want. You can be a tree person. You can be a furry. You can be anything you want to be under the sun. You can identify as it. But apparently you just can't identify as a man or a woman only. There's not 2 genders anymore, guys. You've been sold a lie, right? The Bible is a liar, and just the basic biology is a lie. But yeah, so that video of Mr. Rogers has been just really boiling people up because apparently they just can't handle the truth.
Now, what's the second verse?
Boys are boys from the beginning. Girls are girls right from the start. Everybody's fancy, everybody's fine, your body's fancy, and so is mine. Because sometimes children think that they might change. They might have to change after a while. And, we laugh about that now. But it's because we had that concern when we were little.
Yeah, because you're really not sure, and you thought maybe you'd become a girl, or a girl would become a boy, right?
Exactly.
And it's just crazy how such a small clip can really just stir up the pot. That sort of brings me to another clip that I found, and shout out to Birdman for posting this like 5 years ago. I guess Birdman's pretty based out there, but he posted a video talking about this, and I was able to borrow some of his clips from this. But you are able to find them on YouTube as well. But it was Bill Nye the Science Guy, which I guess he's not going to be, he's really breaking 2 rules now with his name, right? Bill Nye, because science isn't science anymore. So there's no more Bill Nye the Science Guy. But also he's saying that he's a guy, right? So you can't really go say, because he doesn't believe in genders anymore. And the reason why I know that is because I'll get to this clip here in a second. It's a little bit of a longer clip, but just bear with me, guys. It does speak some truth there to it. But yeah, he can't even use his name anymore because apparently Bill Nye is sold out, and he doesn't believe in science, and he doesn't believe in men and women anymore in basic biology. And he's supposed to be the leader in the science community, apparently, at least on TV anyway. But yeah, so apparently he released his clip. It was season 4, episode 8 of his show, Bill Nye the Science Guy, and released in January 1996. And apparently when they re-uploaded these videos to Netflix, woke Netflix as we know him as now, they edited this part out. They edited a part of the show that where a young lady describes how there's only 2 genders and how, I believe the episode was called Probability. So it probably goes into probability of becoming a man or a woman whenever your 2 parents conceive. But yeah, so I'll show you guys that clip now.
Consider the following.
I'm a girl. Could have just as easily been a boy, though, because the probability of becoming a girl is always 1 in 2. See, inside each of our cells are these things called chromosomes, and they control whether we become a boy or a girl. Your mom has 2 X chromosomes in all of her cells, and your dad has 1 X and 1 Y chromosome in each of his cells. Before you're born, your mom gives you one of her chromosomes and your dad gives you one of his. Mom always gives you an X. And if dad gives you an X too, then you become a girl. But if he gives you his Y, then you become a boy. See, there are only 2 possibilities. XX, a girl, or XY, a boy. The chance of becoming either a boy or a girl is always 1 in 2. A 50-50 chance either way. It's like flipping a coin. X, you're a girl, Y, you're a boy. Some people are just lucky, I guess.
Consider the following.
So apparently Bill Nye the Science Guy doesn't believe in science anymore and doesn't believe in being a guy. So maybe he's just Bill Nye. But he sold out for some reason. Something happened. I'm not sure if it was a governmental thing. They're saying, hey, we're really trying to push this message, this narrative. We will give you all this money if you force feed the younger generation this. I remember seeing some clips of him arguing with someone on a news broadcast.
Look, here's the point that I hope our viewers can understand. I'm not in any way denying that the climate is changing. I'm utterly open to the possibility that the change is caused by man's activity. I'm merely calling into question your claim that all of this is settled, that we know precisely what is happening and why, and that anyone who asks pointed questions about it is a denier and ought to be imprisoned or shouted off the stage.
No, that was your word. That's you guys. That's not my claim, and I really.
Would you like me to read your quote? That people who disagree with you ought to potentially go to jail? You said that.
Okay.
And I'm just saying,
I'm not sure that's exactly what I said,
into
Mr. Carlson.
science?
We can talk about that shortly, but.
Is it appropriate to jail the
this.
guys from Enron? Was it appropriate to jail the people in the cigarette industry who promised it wasn't addictive, et cetera?
Okay.
Look, my only point is, shouldn't we be encouraging people to ask honest questions, which I am doing, and you don't seem to have the answers to those questions.
Okay, I got to disagree with you. I claim I do have the answers.
Okay.
That's how
so
the
much
world
of this
would be
you
different
don't
if it
know.
weren't for humans.
You pretend that you know, but you don't know, and you bully people who ask you questions.
I really have to disagree with you. I spent a lot of time with this topic.
I'm open-minded. You are not, and we're out of time, unfortunately.
So,
thank you for joining us.
You guys are.
And they were arguing about basic truths, and I want to say that Bill Nye just really jumped off the ledge at some point in his career. Again, someone either he went crazy and he got the mind virus, the leftist mind virus, or he got paid off or something, right? Or he just went crazy. So I have no idea what happened with Bill Nye the Science Guy, but he just really went hard left and just abandoned all basic truth and biology and science and things of that nature. But yeah, guys, I do feel like there might be a war on basic common sense and basic biology, science. I mean, we learned from the whole pandemic thing that whenever you would question any kind of science that was given, a lot of scientists would come out and they would refute any narratives that were being pushed, and sometimes they were even busting these narratives, and they would get censored. They would get all these other doctors and people of science were getting censored and taken down off of Twitter. And you couldn't ask any questions about any of the jabs. You couldn't ask any questions about the pandemic and all these other things. As soon as you asked any questions or you went against the grain or the narrative, they took you down. That's a concerted effort, guys. Again, you guys probably already know all this by now. And if you don't know, you might have been living under a rock. But hey, part of this channel is to maybe hopefully reach out to normies who maybe have been living under a rock or maybe haven't been paying attention, and that's okay, right? But it's 2 or 3 years later now, and there's a lot of truths that have come out from all that stuff. And so you can easily find more resources on. I can't really talk about those here on YouTube because obviously, they'll try to pull the video down because they don't believe in basic truths and science anymore either. So it's a very compromised platform, but bigger reach here. So we'll see what happens with this video. But yeah, so what do you guys think out there? Do you guys think that there is do you think the common sense and basic science is under attack? Basic biology, do you think it's under attack? Do you think that we're being silenced on purpose? Do you think that people are just trying to dumb us down? Do you think that there's people in control who we can't see or we don't hear much about, who's controlling the narrative to really brainwash people? Because man, I've seen it's gotten a lot worse over the last 5 years. People are walking around, got the Kool-Aid hair, and they're really, pressed to believe in what they believe. Yet when you ask them a question and you challenge their ideologies, they get angry and they can't ever answer. If they do, it's some crazy, in-depth, weird answer that doesn't really make a lot of sense. But normally they don't have an answer and they'll just go, oh, I'm not taking any questions, or they'll walk off and they'll just cause a scene. They'll start to yell and scream. That's because they don't have an answer, right? It's because they don't know how to, they don't have a rebuttal for anything that you ask them. And this is why I always encourage having a debate, having conversation, not having screaming matches. I know it's going to happen sometimes. You can't avoid it always. I'd never advocate for violence or anything like that. I always just say, have a conversation, freedom of speech, use it. But I definitely don't subscribe to their reaction of screaming, yelling, fighting, burning, looting, all that stuff. And definitely, using names, right? When you call somebody a bigot or a racist because they challenge your ideologies or they just have questions about how you believe and you have no answers but to call them a name, you lost the conversation already. So there's no point in doing that, guys. But again, I'll ask the question, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that common sense and basic biology and science is under attack? If you do, let me know in the comments. If you don't, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this subject, because they're really trying to memory hole basic truths that we grew up with in this country. And it really is a hard thing to see, because to me, the way I was raised, the way I was just brought up, and how my mind works, I would never question those truths. There's a lot of solid truths in this world that we just can't question. That's just the way it is. But there's people out there that are buying this stuff. They actually believe that there's more than two genders. They actually believe that there's all of these extra things and all of this fake science and all of this. There's people who believe it, and it breaks my heart that I know that people are being led astray. They're being brainwashed. They're being misinformed, and they're raising their kids to believe these things, right? And it does break my heart. It does hurt me that I see that people are being manipulated like that. But I want to know who's doing it. Where's it coming from? I know it comes from the top, but who's doing it? Who's behind it? We know that Twitter was taken over, and we saw that Twitter had a lot to do with manipulation. They're manipulating a lot of things on Twitter whenever Elon took over. What else is going to come out? We know that Facebook does it. We know that YouTube does it. We know that Instagram does it, right? Someone's telling them from up top what to do. We have an idea, but again, not sure if I can really go into that on this platform. Again, might have to start my Rumble channel for all that. But guys, thank you guys so much again. Answer the question below that I asked earlier. I hate to keep repeating myself, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please like this video if you like it. That way it kind of shares the algorithm. And please share the video if you can with your friends. And follow me on Twitter, Ultra Izzy, guys. But as always I say, stay fearless and stay free. And I'll see you guys on the next one.